Hi there, welcome to your Wellness Wednesday. You're here with Chelsea Marie from chelseamariecoaching.com. And today's video is all about vitamin D. So if you guessed it, you got it. So vitamin D, it's that time of year where we don't really, we don't have very much sun, especially, if you're in Canada or like in northern parts of the States. And, oh, hi, Nicole, thanks for joining. So vitamin D is extremely popular this time of year. And I find that, a lot of people, when they come to me for vitamin D, they don't 100% know what it does or what it's for, or what it is. So the first thing I want to talk about is what vitamin D actually is. So yes, it is a vitamin, but once we consume it through our foods or once we're outside in the sun and our body synthesizes it, it actually becomes converted into a steroid hormone. So that's why sometimes when you hear about vitamin D, people say, oh, it's a hormone, or they say, no, it's a vitamin. It is a vitamin, but like I said, once we consume it or our body synthesizes it, it does become a steroid hormone. So a steroid hormone in our body is a lipid. This is pretty much like a simple fat, which then enters the cell membrane and it actually latches onto a steroid hormone receptor. And at this point, it creates changes within the cell. So that's what vitamin D is. So what does it do? So, as you can tell from the title above, vitamin D does a lot of things in our body, especially because there are receptors like on every single tissue everywhere in our body. So one of the main things that I find most people typically know about vitamin D is that it helps with the ability for our body to create strong bones and teeth because it helps the body to assimilate calcium. So on that note, what it actually does is it helps to balance the calcium and phosphorus levels in your blood. So what happens is our body needs a certain level of both, oh, hi, Ashley. Hi, Christian. Our body needs a certain level of both calcium, but also phosphorus in our blood. If it's too low or if it's too high, it becomes extremely detrimental. So calcium in our blood is going to help with your nerve functions. It's also going to help with the arrhythmia of your heart. It's also going to help your body's ability to properly clot your blood, because if blood is not thick enough, it can actually, we can actually bleed to death at a certain level. So it actually does, calcium levels in our blood do a lot for us. One symptom of low levels of calcium in our blood could be, muscle cramps. It can be twitching of the eye. So it does a whole wide variety of things aside from, helping our body to build strong bones and teeth. On top of that, the phosphorus levels in our blood play a huge role in our body's ATP production. So ATP is your body's ability to take food and actually convert it into fuel and to give you energy. So a lot of cases of extreme fatigue could be that we don't have enough levels of phosphorus in our blood, which are actually due to low levels of vitamin D, because that's what actually helps to balance those levels in our body. Phosphorus also plays a huge role in helping our body to break down and to digest fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. So if you are having digestive issues, it could definitely well lead to low levels of vitamin D, which is an imbalance of phosphorus in your body. So aside from that, oh, hi, Vicky, thanks for joining. So aside from that, vitamin D also releases genes in your body that actually support your immune system and release certain neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. Researchers have actually found that there are handfuls of vitamin D receptors located in the brain that are linked to depression, which is why a lot of people in this winter time, when there's no longer that sun exposure, are really prone to seasonal mood disorders like depression and stuff, because their body is no longer synthesizing those high levels of vitamin D. Your body actually synthesizes about 90% of vitamin D on its own, and then 10% from food. Okay, so Ashley was saying, what about the calcium in tap water after you boil it? I have a bit of a filter, but I still think some comes through. Absolutely. So there is a huge difference from calcium from your food that are natural forms, and then calcium that is added synthetically to your water. So your vitamin D, what it's going to do is it's actually going to balance out the levels of calcium. So when you don't have enough levels of calcium, so let's say you're drinking it from your water and you're getting, or let's say, like Ashley said, if you have a filter and, you know, for some reason your body is now depleted in calcium from the water that you were drinking, your body actually triggers your parathyroid gland, which actually triggers a certain enzyme in your body to instantly start converting inactive vitamin D into an active form of vitamin D. So at that point, when your blood level is actually low in calcium, your body is it's instantly on it. It's sending signals to your body to instantly start converting vitamin D. And at that point, it allows your digestive system to start absorbing more calcium from your foods, and it starts replenishing it back into your entire blood system. And at this point, your body will actually also leach out levels of calcium from your bones to start putting it back into your blood system to make sure that there is a proper balance with those levels and the pH, which is why if we consume a diet that's really acidic, if we consume a diet that has pop and sugar, at this point, it's so acidic in our body that as a self-defense mechanism, your body will start leaching out minerals from your bones to help create this balance. And vitamin D plays a huge role in that process in making sure that there is that balance. Oh, you're so welcome. That's an awesome question, Ashley. So as I was saying before, vitamin D also plays a huge role with your immune system as well as your mood. It is very, very, very well linked to depression because, as I was mentioning, it actually releases certain genes in your body that trigger neurotransmitters that release dopamine and serotonin. And then, as I was also saying, there are receptors along your entire immune system that require vitamin D to help balance and just to bring that synergy within your entire immune system. So if you are low in vitamin D, as I was mentioning, you know, right now here in BC, if you live in Vancouver, there is like zero sun. In other areas of Canada, like Saskatchewan, there might be, you know, more sun, depending on where you're living. But at this point, you know, 90% is typically produced or synthesized from the sun. That's a huge amount of vitamin D. And as I mentioned, it's going to affect your mood. It's going to affect our body's ability to digest foods. It's going to assist in joint pain, all different types of, you know, symptoms. Even weight gain is noticed from lack of vitamin D in your body as well. So what can you do? So if you aren't getting enough sun, you can definitely look at consuming foods that are higher in vitamin D. One other thing to do is to get your levels checked. And when you do get your levels checked, make sure to have them check your active as well as your inactive levels of vitamin D. So in saying that, our body has, typically when you get your levels checked, they will always check your inactive. They won't always check your active levels. So your active levels is, for instance, when your body, as I was mentioning before, if your blood level is really low in calcium, your body right away will start, you know, triggering certain chemicals and reactions and enzymes to have your body release more vitamin D. This is the active form at this point. So if you, for instance, had hyperthyroidism, at that point, your active levels of vitamin D could be very, very, very high, but then the inactive levels could be extremely low. So it is important to have your levels checked to know exactly where you stand with your levels of vitamin D, considering it is an actual fat-soluble vitamin. Oh, thanks for the love, guys. So as I was mentioning, definitely get your levels checked. One thing to also keep in mind is that your body, in order to actually make vitamin D, your body uses cholesterol. So if you are on cholesterol lowering medication, you know, this could definitely have an effect and deplete your stores of vitamin D in your body. Oh, thanks for joining, Mike. Another thing with checking out your whole vitamin D levels is if you have an issue with your gallbladder, or if you've had your gallbladder removed, your body actually requires the bile from your gallbladder to emulsify all the fat solubles in your body so it can be absorbed. And because vitamin D is a fat soluble nutrient, it requires the bile from your gallbladder. So if you've either had your gallbladder removed or you have issues digesting fats, make sure that you are taking either bile salts or taking something like ox bile. Definitely check with your pharmacist or your doctor if you're on medication to make sure how much you can take and to make sure that it is right for you. Always double check if you have any kind of health issues or if you're on medication. So those are two things to kind of keep in mind. One other thing as well is if you have an issue with your liver, if you have like a clogged liver or a fatty liver, or if you even are having problems with your kidney. As I mentioned, your kidney actually takes the inactive and it converts it into an active form in your body. So if you are having kidney issues, or just by getting your kidneys, your kidneys actually checked out, your doctor can kind of see what kind of state they're in and how it's actually affecting your body's production for vitamin D. Okay, so what kind of foods can you eat to actually top up your levels? Number one, cod liver oil is one of the best sources of cod. And the reason why, it's one of the best levels of vitamin D. The reason for that is because it's actually in an active form that your body can immediately absorb and utilize. On top of that, your body actually needs vitamin F to properly absorb and utilize vitamin D. Now, I know you're probably thinking, what the heck is vitamin F and where that even come from? So vitamin F is also known as your essential fatty acids. So you will find this in your omega-3s, in your omega-6s. Your body actually needs a proper ratio of your essential fatty acids with your vitamin D to actually have it be absorbed. And in cod liver oil, it actually has that perfect ratio of your essential fatty acids and your vitamin D. So it's that perfect combination. If you are a vegetarian, you can definitely find, good levels of vitamin D from mushrooms. I would probably start consuming them in higher doses in your food, but also look for an actual supplement mushroom form. So you do have it in a higher form that's already active for you as well. One thing to also keep in mind, you can also find them in your butter, in your eggs. You can find them in some nuts and seeds, sunflower seeds. You can always take a couple seconds to go online and also see what other foods are possibly really high in vitamin D as well. So so that was kind of just a little chit chat about vitamin D, why it's so important, and how you can top yourself up, and overall, don't underestimate the power of vitamin D as well, and don't be afraid to go to your doctor and get your levels checked. I know, vitamin F, I didn't know, honestly, I recently found out about vitamin F as well. And like I said, it's essentially your essential fatty acids. They just break things down into a whole bunch of different names just to make it that much more confusing. I know. So anyway, so that was my little topic on vitamin D. One thing I also want to let you guys know is that if you guys want to chit chat with me one-on-one, specifically about any health concerns that you have for yourself, I would be more than happy to. I call this a discovery call. This is an opportunity for you and I to get to know each other, for me to get to learn about your goals, for you to create clarity about your goals, and a little step-by-step action plan on how you can really take control of your health and wellness goals overall. So once again, it's completely complimentary. This is specific to ladies. Sorry guys, I specifically work one-on-one with women, and I help help women to essentially balance their hormones, lose the weight, and to get their energy back. So that's if that's something you're interested in, I'd be more than happy to. And also, in the meantime, if you want to get your free 5-day slim down and to get weekly recipes and wellness tips, don't forget to go to my website at chelseamariecoaching.com. I will definitely link that above. All you have to do is plug in your email address and you'll be on the list. You'll get my weekly recipes and wellness tips. And then right off the bat, you'll get your freebie, your 5-day slim down that will really help to support you throughout this winter season in just overall keeping the weight off and just making sure that you can feel good, every single day, but also, before you start the New Year's. You don't have to wait to start the New Year's to really, get on top of your health goals. It's never too early, and it's also never too late. So I just kind of wanted to let you guys know about that as well. I am off into my private Heartcore Living group. So if you guys want some more nutrition insight and tips, I do pull a weekly card for the week that kind of talks about the emotional, vibrational frequency that is going on, that is surrounding you. So if that's something you're interested in, hop on over to Heartcore Living is where you will find the private group. I will also link that above. And so I'll see you in the private group soon. Bye.